Hey guys, welcome to Punky's World. If you recall, we talked about pictures, and I told you about a picture that I wanted to get of my third great grandfather. Well, that picture came much more quickly than I had anticipated. Oops. This is insane. Where is it? Look at that. Looks like his mother on his shirt, evidently. The article says, like most wealthy men, Dr. Parmenas Dyer, a highly respected 19th century physician of Farmington, Maine, was fond of his mother, and when she died, he grieved deeply. But he cheered up a good deal when he discovered spiritualism, and basically he had seances. When he had himself photographed and the plate was developed, that was discovered. Crazy and spooky. The portrait was sent in by Mrs. Benjamin Butler. The article is called Maternal Emulsion. It's in the section called Reader's Album on page 108. So, I'll put this back in. I can read you the whole thing, but I read you an excerpt. Now, to tell you a little bit about how we preserved our pictures. That's not the one I wanted. Uh-oh, where's the one I wanted? Here it is. Nope. Oh, it's right here in front of me. These are acid-free. These pictures were originally on the old, I will find a picture of what I'm talking about and put it right here. Black, almost construction paper photo albums. Actually, I don't have to find a picture because you know what? I have one. I'll show it to you. Excuse the darkness for half a second here. I never took out Minnie's out of hers. Actually, I have two of them here. I'm sure that you've seen it. Okay. You see? It's like black construction paper. So, yeah. That's not Minnie's. But that's what I'm talking about when I talk about but those, sorry guys, I paused you for a second. Those are not the best to keep the pictures in. But I don't want to feel uncomfortable doing anything without Minnie's pictures, even though I inherited them when my father's cousin passed away, because he inherited them, because she had given them to us, actually lent them to us, but then she moved out of state and subsequently passed away. I feel like some of those pictures should get back to her children. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, because some of them are of her children, some of them drawings, a school report, you know, things that should get back to her children. If I had any clue where they were. Okay. Again, we used acid-free. The only issue is the size. I'm not going to show you every single picture and bore you, but these are the ones, the earliest ones, from the turn of the century to the 1930s. And we can tell that because some of them are actually dated. This one says 1929 on it. And it says Angelina Hemingway, Josie's sister. That means that's my grandmother in 1929. How crazy is that? You know what I need to do? I need to put my feet up because this is stretching my leg. So, forgive the clinging. This isn't working. Let's put it over here. Put this over here so I can at least put this leg up. Okay, I can put my legs up. Still look at you. There we go. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Sorry, guys. My leg is still a little sore. There, that's better. Now, that is how we organize. Now, you may have a different way of organizing your pictures, but if you do have them on the black photo albums I just showed you, what you might want to think about doing is gently taking them off, because sometimes there are clues on the back. Or if you're my great aunt Josephine, you wrote in ink on that damn black paper, and it's almost impossible to read. Unless you're my great aunt Josephine, in which case you know what you wrote. She also did this. She used this cardstock. Let me try to take one out here. If it will let me take one out. Why did you do this? Hold on. I'm trying to take one out of here, but it is not cooperating. There we go. We have this cardstock. Some of the smaller ones are on here. These are old, like old. I'm trying to figure out exactly who Roland and Rolando were. They were cousins way back in the day. This one's old. You can tell sometimes who the people are, or some of the people are, by the people around them. And also ask your elderly relatives before they pass away who people are. I believe this is my great grandmother. This one. I'm trying to get her in front of the camera. There we go. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Josephine, my great grandmother. You know, she marked Roland and Rolando. She marked a few people, but you need a magnifying glass to really read it. This is 4th of July, 1924. Oh no, 1929. Goodness gracious, Auntie. Anyway, that's Aunt Josephine. This is who owned all these pictures, by the way. I am so sorry that this does not focus very well in these pictures. I noticed that in the other video. So like I said, these, I think my mother came up with the idea of putting these little ones on these little cardstocks that I'm showing you, because they're so tiny, some of them. I think this was my mother's idea, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's glued. Only thing is, it's glued. There we go. Like I said, I think this was my mother's idea. It's a good idea. Ida and Albert. Holy crap. This is my great aunt and uncle, brother and sister. Look at that. This picture right here. They were stinking young there. They were born at the turn of the last century, and I would say, yeah, it's probably the 20s. Because they were all older than my grandmother. I have a picture of my grandmother, all of her siblings, and my great-grandparents. My grandmother's just a little kid. And my grandfather's sitting there holding something. Apparently, it's a dog. But it looks terrible. And there are a lot of 20s pictures here, which is why I put them. Okay, that is 1929 as well. These people didn't know anything about a depression because they were always poor. David Hemingway and Love Kennedy. Okay, here's another picture of Love Kennedy. Now the interest, oh boy, and this is an old one. And it's stamped on the back, so that'll be interesting. That's why I'm pulling that out. This one is stamped on the back. It says August 16, 1941. Certified photo finished. Master America? I don't know. But it's August 16, 1941. And these are my my great-great-grandparents, Josephine, and I believe that's Roham with her second husband, who raised her kids because, well, her first husband died of tuberculosis, like a lot of people did back then. It was also called consumption, by the way. She wrote it on both sides. She wrote Love and David, and then she wrote David H., which is Hemingway, and Love Kennedy. This David, because this says 1928, and he's a little boy, this David would be my cousin David, who's buried with my parents. This would be his dad. And he loves wearing glasses. This is so cute. They also call them the Irishers in one of the pictures. It's interesting. Okay, there's another picture with them in it. I really would like to find their family and give them copies of these pictures. A couple of them I would just give to them because they're only them. But pictures that have my family in with them, I would give them copies of. This is the Connecticut River in Middletown. I don't know why. It's there, but it's there. Here's Mr. Butler. Now that's interesting. Actually, that's a different Butler, because that was in Maine. But here's Billy and Love Kennedy with a bunch of the kids. Again, I'm going to show it to you because I really want to find their families. This is, let's see. Again, David, Amity, Nelson, Love, and Bill. 4th of July, 1929. Again, Nelson, Amity, David, they're all passed away. They're pretty old. So, Billy and Love may be passed away, but I would still love to be able to give that to their families. It's funny, this one says Thomas and Lou. Thomas and Lou, ooh, you know? Oh, gotta show you these. These are reprints. Reprints can be very valuable because you'll be able to better preserve picture. Sorry, let me get my juice. This is strawberry lemonade. And since I just brushed my teeth, it is atrocious. These are, if you recall, when we were in the storage room and I showed you a picture of me with an elderly gentleman, well, that's him over here. No, not over here. He is wearing a dress, and that's his sister Donalda. This is their parents' wedding photo. Yeah, that tells you how old that is. He died at 96 years old, I think. I believe that's how old he was. His daughter is still alive. She's quite elderly now. Actually, both of his daughters are. I'm trying to. Anyway, here's an interesting one. I want to show you this because it's a postcard. I don't know who Josephine Capiuti is, but I do know that she's a postcard. So back then that seemed to be common. I have two that I want to show. Oh, remember the grave we went to? And I showed you a picture of these people. Well, this is a postcard of them. Look at that. So young. looking at how young they are in this picture, I almost 30s maybe? The decade, not the age necessarily. We also have, they worked at a state hospital, Josephine did, and her first husband. Looks like it says 1925. And this is her and her first husband on the Hartford Retreat grounds. Can barely see them. He wasn't a very nice man at all. That was 1927. David and Selena Badenese. That name is actually in the cemetery in Manchester. I was in too much pain to show you much. Okay, this picture is my great-grandmother with the kids at the beach. It's her, Amitty's mother, who died of tuberculosis on one of the times she was out of the hospital, and Billy Kennedy. As you can see, the handwriting is tough to make out, but it's worth it to take a magnifying glass to your old pictures, honestly. It truly is, because you never know. Rick Labonte, we saw his stone. He passed tragically. He's the one that told us this uniform is a World War I uniform. That is George Hemingway. So just to look out for uniforms, and if somebody is a historian like he was when it comes to military stuff. Okay, this guy's in uniform and getting married. Oh no, just a suit. I don't know who it is though. I do not know who this is. You'd think you'd write on the back of the wedding picture. But of course not on Josephine. Oh, you might have written in the book. Actually, there was a piece of paper in the book and it said, Josephine's pictures, hands off, they don't belong to you. It's so funny. I love these big, okay, this is interesting right here because this is the cannon that I showed you in real life. Let me see. Put in album. To be put in album. Although that helps, Auntie. Because you can see the mill across the way behind it. There it is. That's old. It looks a little different nowadays, but I promise you, pretty sure it's the same one. I have in here, I'm not going to show you everything because it would bore you to tears. Okay, the Irishers, Billy and Love. This is the original of the picture that I showed you. Because the picture that I showed you was made for a Sutton book. Oh, that's Buster the dog. You never know what you're gonna find. Again, here's what I was looking for. I had someone actually translate these. These are both postcards. And there's a mystery involved with these. That's a class. And that is a little boy. Oops. Now, so goes the family story. Supposedly, Great Aunt Josephine, the owner of these images, was beaten by her first husband, Nelson Brisson, a French Canadian, which makes sense because that's what she was, and lost a baby during this beating and was not able to ever have another child. This is what was said, because she was quite pregnant, evidently. Except, we have a problem. And that is these pictures, which are postcards. But they're written in Old French, so I can only get them partly translated. June, is that June? Is that June? I think it's June 9th, 1929. It's old French. I don't know how well anybody can read it, but this is Conrad Brisson. Was this her son? Away at some school in Canada, I would say. And this is the school, and this is February 29th, 1928. And it says Conrad, and then it says L. Filchitz. I can't read it, but and Conrad's right there. You can see that's the same kid right there. Oh boy, I wish it would show better. Right there. Yeah, right there at the end. You can see it's the same kid. I never noticed that because he's so tiny. Here it looks like he's studying music, maybe. This one was sent to his aunt, or given to his aunt, because it says place stamp here and there's no stamp. Stamp may have come off. And that one doesn't have a stamp either. I wonder if he just handed these off and they got taken back to the US. But these are definitely a mystery that needs solving. I'm going to leave these out for that and see if I can figure that out. And you'll notice some of my older French family is very dark. They look like they could be African American. Look at this toughie. I don't know if you can. Look at that little toughie. That's so funny. But I wanted to show you that in particular because it's such a mystery. That is the earliest pictures. I'm just going to throw them up here. Okay, these are the latest. But I have pictures from the 40s and 50s. Dear Lord, I put that on my knee. 40s and 50s here. My great-grandparents. It's unusual to see them in this particular type of a pose because she was so much taller than him. She usually would slouch if they were standing, or she would sit and he would stand. So this is very unusual. But it's them. So some pictures later on, school pictures. Jeepers crow, these are from the 70s, aren't they? I believe so. I believe this is, yeah, this is Lisa and Kenny. Oh boy. I wonder what my cousin would do if I posted this on Facebook. Wow. Holy crap. Grade what? 7th grade. Wow. Like I said, I wonder what my cousin would do if I posted that on Facebook. I think that's who that is. It's weird to look through and try to figure out. Oh, these are some of Uncle Albert's. I ended up, like I said, inheriting them because, that's Linda Jean, I believe. I'm friends with this little girl on Facebook. Pretty sure that's who that is. Well, that might not be. Because this is, yeah, that might not be. Oh, you know what? I bet those two pictures were Dottie's kids. Because this is all Aunt Minnie and Uncle Albert's stuff in that section. Yeah, that's Aunt Minnie and Uncle Albert's stuff. This is Aunt May and Uncle Albert, David Albert, not long before they died. Actually, she lived to be exceedingly old. We called him Albert, but Uncle Albert, but his name was actually David Albert Phileas Hemingway. Yeah, these are all their stuff, which I added to here. A Blues Clues birthday invitation. Again, some things I'd like to get back to my cousin's children, my father's cousin's children. Oh my goodness. This is also 40s and 50s. This is loaded. You'll also find some interesting pieces of history, like this. I know a lot of people sell them, especially if they've been left in a storage unit or something, because something like that is actually quite valuable. I would never sell it. It's from 1944. It's a Japanese flag. It's signed by a bunch of people. And a lot of it is in characters, Japanese characters. That's highly valuable for the time period because of what it depicts and stuff. So that's just an example. That's my Uncle Ray. This is my Uncle Ray in the 50s. He was married to my aunt. Anyway, I do not know who that is with my great-grandfather. Isn't that funny? Anytime I've ever seen him with a woman, other than my great-grandmother. So I have no idea who that is. And you also have to remember they sometimes would call people by other names. Like my aunt, Barbara. Her French name was Pola, P-O-L-A. That's what I knew her as. She was Aunt Barbara, but when I was little, she was Dad's sister, Pola, and my father called her Pola. And you will see in her sister's pictures, it says Pola. Again, it's P-O-L-A. The French and the Irish do one thing with their names. The ladies tend to use middle names as their everyday names instead of using their first names. The other thing, as I was telling my friend, because she has the Scotch-Irish as well as the Greek, I told her, I said, it'll make you pull your hair out, I'm telling you, because the Irish have naming patterns, for those who don't know. So you would have Grandpa, Dad, first son. Well, okay, let's take my own family. You have John. He's my great-great-great-grandfather, I believe. Hold on, Thomas is my great. James is my great. Yeah, my third great-grandfather. Just hit my knee. And his son was James, which is likely to be his father's name. James' oldest son's name was John, named after his father. And what they did was you named your oldest son after your dad, your next son after you, your next son after your oldest brother, and you did the girls the same way. Grandmother, mother, oldest sister, and so on and so forth. So when you get down to having, like, I don't know, I've got 7 or 8 John Wilsons. It's like, okay, look at the dates. Look at the dates. It's the only way you're going to figure it out. So this is fun because this is more recent stuff. This is stuff I'm actually in. This is the house we lived in before this house. Look, I want you to look at this beautiful floor and these beautiful cats. It's such a shame because we were going to buy that house. It sucked, but what can you do? It's just, oh, I love this picture. Her t-shirt says, I fought the lawn and the lawn won. You might be surprised at what you find even in your newer, older pictures, if that makes sense. Some of these go all the way back to the 70s. To great-grandma, oh. This is my cousin Kenny. He unfortunately died of breast cancer. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This is my cousin Kenny's namesake. His brother Raymond's son, Kenny. Oh, what an idiot. I am. For not realizing that. But anyway. Small pictures don't want to. There we go. This is my cousin Renee. Age 5. I'm actually going to keep that out because I'm going to send her a copy of that. Graduation, that sort of stuff. More graduation. This is actually a black and white picture of me, which, yes, I'm that old. This is August 3rd, 1976. I was there celebrating my 2nd birthday. And this is me sucking my thumb. And I got my finger over my cousin down there. And those are his sisters from his father's first marriage. Holding us up. But yeah, I was there celebrating. Oh. Is there a better picture of him? No, guess not. This is my first boyfriend and his 2 half-sisters. That's Charlie. Oh, Charlie he'll always be my first love. He truly will be. Even though we've long since moved on from each other. This is Grammy Wilson. Look at the oxygen tank, guys. Hand over her face. There we go. Now the oxygen tank. That's what they had to deal with back then. This was in the late 70s. She died in 1980, so that would be in the late 70s. That's Richie Hall. That's funny. I don't know what my uncle was thinking, but I love these people. It's my godmother, her son, Auntie Sharon and David. We just buried his brother. His I can't get it. His brother. That was my 4th birthday, by the way. Like I said, this stuff is just fun. I do have someone I want to show you because I want to find her. Looking for a lot of people, aren't I? Her name was Mitzi. Mitzi was my babysitter. I loved Mitzi. Oh, this is Midnight Being Mischievous, literally standing on top of Puff. Standing on top of him, I kid you not. Where Puff was under the pillow. That's hilarious. Anyway. Eek. Okay, close that. There we go. I'm gonna find it. I have several pictures of Mitzi. And she was my babysitter when I was little. Oh heck, what's going on here? Ah, it's stuck. Really? Come on. Thank you. Had my neighbor, but she moved away. Oh, another black and white picture of me. This is me with Auntie Edie. This was from Whalen Park. This was how they did it before they did the Polaroid. So, Thanks. Everybody's favorite picture of Kelly. Ow. Oh, my legs. By the way, guys, food was delicious. Just looking for that picture. Look. Here's one. Yay! There is Mitzi. I'm sure I can find a better picture of her, but I would absolutely love to take a magnifying glass to this and look at the mantle. Because there's pictures up there, and I think I know what one of them might be. I used to teach this little boy in high school. It's the day I graduated. Well, what they call class day, which is your graduation in front of the school. And I was leaving my little buddy. This is my JP. He passed away at 25 years old. We try to get this to focus. Focus on this darn thing. He had drowned in a swimming pool and became very handicapped from the damage to his brain. I got to teach him one period a day. I was so blessed. Gotta find another picture of Mitzi here somewhere. I truly was, because he was the best. He laughed and giggled, and he would put his hand on my leg and he would giggle and laugh. And there's another one I'd like to take a magnifying glass too. There's actually two from that day right here. To see what exactly, I mean, I know approximately what's there, but that one and that one. That one, I've got a cat. That's Ming. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. It's the same day. Same outfit. Good Lord, that's the early 80s. You can tell by that shirt. Ugh. Might even be the late 70s. And look how long my hair was. And it never got cut. At some point, it was so long it went over the back of the chair. It's almost there now. And my father stepped on it with his boots. Not intentionally. Just when you're wearing the work boots, you can't feel anything. And he stepped on it. But, again, love of my life. Oh, I miss this guy so much. It's crazy. Losing that cat was like, and I'm not saying this to make less of losing a child, but for me, he was like losing a child. You know? Because he was my child, as far as I'm concerned. Oh Lord, here's that picture in the small version. The one that I said was the most comfortable dress. You can actually see the maroon at the bottom on this picture. Oh yeah. It's not written on, so that didn't give me any clues. Wow, was I skinny there? Anyway, I digress. I love you, Auntie Sharon, so much. I don't know if I ever showed you guys this picture. It's on my Facebook. That's the little boy I kissed. My Aunt Edie posed this picture. Can you see the lovely 1970s paneling behind us? I lived in that paneling until 1987. Here's another picture of me in front of it. That was written on, I believe, at one time. But anyway. That was in our living room. Come on, Mitzi. Mitzi used to babysit him too, by the way. He was the neighborhood babysitter, but his mother didn't remember Mitzi's last name either. Ah, here's a good picture of Mitzi. That's my Mitzi. Focus. So yeah, this picture hung on our wall for eons, and it is a postcard picture. It's from July of 1978. That's about right. So it's just before I turned 4, and you'll see that on the back. I want to show you that right there. If it'll focus on it, I don't know whether it did or didn't, but that's Davy Darling and I. We buried his brother recently. But we took this same picture 40 years apart. So that means we were just about 4 years old. We were just under 4. Because if it was taken July, what it says, July 1978, our birthdays were in August, so we would have turned 4. About 10 days apart in August. It took me a while to remember what this day was. She was taking a Bambi's. She wanted to do one in the mirror. Look how long my hair was. This was the day that I had my first evaluation for Social Security. I also have reprints of pictures of some of my Wilson family, Dalzell family, whatever they get to do, and the rest of them are empty. So, again, I would really like to find Mitzi. Oh, I have to tell you about this picture. I also have to see if my cousin recognizes it. There we go. Okay. This picture. If it will focus. I can't get it to focus on the dang picture. Anyway, starting from left, we have Chrissy, we have my cousin David in the back, and me, then Chris, then my cousin Dennis in the red. Now, this picture was taken the last day Chris was with us because he went back to Kentucky to his mom. I might have gotten it to focus. He was staying with a pastor on the street behind the street that we lived on. Well, one day we had a hurricane named Gloria come through, and they left him outside. My mother and my Aunt Holly said, like hell, Chris, you get in here. And we all went upstairs to Aunt Holly's and Uncle David's, us kids, and played. Chrissy was my best friend in that neighborhood. If you recall, I showed you the upstairs where she lived, where my best friend lived. That's her, in the blue. It was clearly raining that day. And look at my necklace. That was the in thing back then. And those pants were so comfy. Look at me. But I do recommend taking a magnifying glass to some of your pictures. You might be surprised at what's in the background that are actually clues. Other pictures in the background, for instance, that are actually, like I said, clues. So I hope you enjoyed another genealogy tips video and walk down memory lane at the same time. Because like I said, I think it's very important to only to organize your pictures and to keep them acid-free and safe, but also to use them as clues. Use your magnifying glass. Use your elderly relatives to look at them. You never know what memories they might jog. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of those. Elderly relatives, that is. And if you don't have a magnifying glass, you know what? Take a picture of it with your tablet or your phone and blow it up. Like I said, you might be surprised. The pictures of Mitzi are on my Facebook. Mitzi is not a common name. I know her mother's name was Nan, N-A-N, which means it was probably Nancy. I believe they moved out to the middle of the country, like Montana, I want to say, if that helps at all. And I am going to work on this mystery. So I'll let you know if I find anything on that. Thank you so much for being with me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.